Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose, and I'm here to share the day's astrology with you with a little help from Tarot. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology post, which you can find on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, do a quick review of the day's astrology, and then play another card that may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The tarot card that sits on the side of the page right now is the Two of Cups, and that is because we are in the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit through Cancer. So it's a 30-day transit. There will be 3 such cards during that transit. And Cancer is a water sign, and cups are water in tarot. And water relates essentially to our feeling life, our emotional life, how it feels to be in our hearts and minds, how it feels to be in our bodies. And often, that relates also to like our home life and our love life, the emotional way we are about things. It also relates to our intent, our intuitions, and our capacity to create. So the Two of Cups here is a card that represents a moment of union between two people. And this can be a romantic union, but it doesn't have to be. This can be a business partnership, a friendship. This can represent the bond with someone we have in our family, the bond we have with someone in our family. But basically, it is a partnership where two people, recognize themselves as being one, and they have a lot of positive regard for one another. Okay, they like each other very well, or they love each other. They respect one another. They seek to honor one another, and so with that emotional bond, we see them sort of merging their realities. uh, this caduceus is here to also represent the merging of two becoming one. And you've got the 2 up here and the 2 wings on the lion's head there, which really speaks some fire energy, but also some Mercury energy. Like it's almost as though the energy of Mercury is communicated through the caduceus into these pair of people. And so, it creates some sort of bond between them, and it is based on mutual regard. And the card also talks about, the potential that can come out of people being joined in this way. You can build whatever the two of you are interested in building, as long as you are engaged in good faith in the relationship. And with all of that said, there's a lot of balance energy in this. Okay, I want to make that really clear too. Notice how these people are a little bit different, but the cups are the same. The caduceus is very balanced. The rest of the picture has a lot of good balance to it. And it's very much an interest in this relationship where these two people like each other or love each other, that they also, seek balance in their relationship. I've got a bug flying around in here. I don't know if you'll see it go across the camera or not. Okay, and with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle my cards while I remind my cards and myself that the sun is currently in Cancer. This started about a week ago with the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. And now here we are in the hottest days of the summer and in the cardinal water sign, saying, don't forget to hydrate yourselves. Don't forget to get down to the water if you are hot and you are somehow not able to get in the air conditioning or can't stand staying inside any longer. Don't forget to get out there and really bathe yourself in the water, enjoy the water while you can during the summertime. If you're in North America like me, that's when we most enjoy the water. The other thing that's going on today that I want to talk about is that the asteroid Amor is in Cancer. And I've been talking about these different asteroids because there aren't any other planets in Cancer with the sun right now, but there's this whole series. There's like 5 or 6 asteroids that are actually traveling in Cancer as well as the sun. So I think it's only right to bring our attention to them. The asteroid Amor really addresses It really addresses, our love in general for people. What is that? Usually, I think it would be expressed as agape in the Greek tradition or the Platonic tradition. But it's really, that general love we have for humanity, the love that we have that we can give out to anybody, that we have for anybody that we could consider, the love that we have for life in general and for being alive. And, you know, uh, it's refreshing, I think, to reflect on this vibration of general love for humanity in this time of the sun being in Cancer, because it says that we want to initiate care and support and protection for people in general. And a lot of these asteroids are really suggested and expressed as feminine personalities. So a lot of talk about um, you know womanhood in its many facets here, and this is sort of like as feminine spirits, like who we are. Um, in terms of the love that we give humanity, the grace that we give so many people, and the care that we give so many people, just because that's who we are. Not saying that we are a monolith at all, but uh, it is a general characteristic. The moon is also in Cancer today. It is a new moon, okay? The new moon is a time to pause between decreasing and releasing. We pause before we start again to think about and plan what we're going to do next, okay? So consider the now. Take some time out, especially this evening around 10 o'clock when that sun goes conjunct to the moon. Take some time to, consider your present moment. Take a look at your circumstances and think rationally about, where you'd like to be 4 weeks from now, or a year from now, so on and so forth. It's a good time to do that. And then, after that, we're going to be in the waxing crescent. We're going to start, thinking about the future and setting intentions and goals and making plans, so that when we get to this first quarter moon in Libra next week, we will be ready to move into action on the culmination of some plans. Moon goes into Cancer early this morning at 6:53. Well, 7 o'clock is not that early, but early this morning, Moon goes into Cancer, and it is like coming home in terms of our feeling life. It feels very familiar. It feels, just like, yes, this is how things ought to be. And if it doesn't feel familiar and if it doesn't feel good at home or in your heart, it's going to be really glaringly obvious, and there's going to be something you have to do about it. But this is a time to sort of restore ourselves with water, initiate care and connection where we see that it is needed, but also use some discernment. We don't want to be initiating care and connection where people don't want us, So we've got to be discerning about that, but we definitely want to be initiating care and connection at this time. Moon is square to Jupiter at 9:44. This makes us very good company, and the moon is going conjunct to the sun today, so sun is also going square to Jupiter. So it's a very positive vibe with these two going square to Jupiter. Actually, squares do usually represent challenges, and there are challenges that can come up, but Jupiter doesn't let really bad things happen unless it's one of those mistakes where you had too much or you did too much, okay, or you gave too much. So avoid overindulging, but you can be very good company at this time, and sharing is caring. Moon reaches its apogee early tomorrow morning at 1:10 a.m., and that just makes it all feel a little bit less intense. And it's been kind of a relief the last few months, I think, that the moon's apogee has come around while the moon is in Cancer. When the moon is in Cancer, I feel the emotions pretty strongly. So it's nice to have the moon at its apogee, because I'm just a little, I just get a little bit of more of a buffer between me and the feeling life. On the sun side, the veil is lifted this morning. Neptune goes retrograde, and so whatever it is that we've been fooling ourselves about, any kind of fantasy life we've been living in, we might have a rude awakening. One way or another, the veil is lifted. We're going to have an awakening. We're gonna see where we've been living a fantasy, or a lie, or a dream, and we're going to see what the reality is for the situation. And that can be difficult. It can be a trying thing to really learn what it is that you have not been wanting to see, right? But being able to see it gives you an opportunity to move forward, you know, with honesty and clarity about what is actually happening in your life. Sun goes square to Jupiter. We talked about how this brings in a very good vibration. All good things flow to me and through me, okay? And we definitely get that vibe when Sun and Jupiter are together in aspect. And then the square comes in and just says, okay, yeah, but how are you going to act about that? Make sure that you don't, like on the moon side, it says don't overindulge. On the sun side, it's more like, try not to get a bloated head about it, right? Try not to become arrogant, insufferable because of all this confidence that you're feeling, and all the great ideas you're having, and all the ways in which you can see your life expanding. We feel like this monster. It's like the phenomenal cosmic power, right? So we gotta keep humble, okay? We gotta stay rational in our behavior. All good things flow to us and through us as long as we don't get in our own way, right? Sun goes conjunct to moon tonight at 9:52. That is the point of culmination for the new moon. I do recommend taking a pause at that time and just taking a look at your life in the now, because tomorrow we're going to begin thinking about the future again. Venus is sextile to Jupiter. It goes sextile to Jupiter around 11 o'clock tonight. This expands our pulling power and our appetite. Okay, so we want bigger, shinier, more opulent things when Venus is sextile to Jupiter, and we're willing to work for it. That collaboration is there, so we are pulling those things toward us. Pay attention to the nice things you want to draw toward you, and not the stuff that you don't like to see. And I know we have to give the bad, sad, mean, and mad stuff like some time and attention. I'm not saying that we should be in denial about what's happening in the world, but we can also have a certain part of our attention on just trying to attract toward us the better circumstances we want to see for ourselves, right? The better things we want to attract into our life, the better love we want to attract into our lives. In the ongoing column, Mercury is sextile to Chiron. If it troubles you, speak up, okay? It's just a couple more days, but it's a good time to clear the air between you and somebody that you may have put up a wall against. And it's a good time, because Chiron is in Aries, you can use a little bit of charm to help with that healing. But it's really just a good time for us all to be open about something that is troubling us, with somebody that we feel we can trust and process those things with. So hopefully we can find a solution, because Chiron is there to help us find solutions. Mars sextile to Saturn in retrograde is an excellent working in cooperation vibe, even with Saturn in retrograde, even with that work really being done on, what we feel supports us and what seems to be good and foundational. Mars and Saturn get together, and we are sort of like workhorses. We do the labor, whatever the labor is that needs to be done. We can even cooperate with others really well and get more done. So take care of business. Pluto, we're going through changes on the outside and on the inside, and it's all very foundational. We're just kind of really watching ourselves change in slow motion, but it also, from my perspective, seems to all be going so fast. Right? So don't be surprised if you wake up this time next year and you find your life is completely different, or your sense of yourself is completely different. Saturn is in retrograde too, and it wants to know, like, these things that I lean on for support, do they work for everyone? Because if they don't work for everyone, they're not real supports. They're shams, and they should be fired. Okay, and with all of that said, Four of Cups. Okay, so we've got cups and cups on a day with both the moon and the sun in Cancer. Okay, so very emotional vibe. Cancer initiates emotion, initiates connection. And usually that's in the in terms of care and protection, but that can be there can be a withdrawn quality to that too. So Four of Cups is kind of a moment where you see somebody's um, I have another deck where the person in the picture is wearing a shirt that says "over it," and I like that a lot because that is sort of the vibe of this card. Is like I've had 3 cups of this emotional stuff, and feeling pretty full of it. I'm pretty much over it. I'm not interested. And I might not even see, an offer for some other kind of different emotional experience coming in, or an intuition, a message coming in, even in the form of an emotion, right? So we're there's a kind of blocked energy to this where it's like, yeah, I've had it literally up to my eyeballs with these emotional and intuitive experiences, and I really can't even maybe see past what it is that I'm feeling right now. So I'm definitely not open to new information, new offers, new intuitive data, inspiration of any kind. And I think that's an unfortunate vibe to be in myself. To become withdrawn like that and to not be responsive to emotional offers or intuitive offers, to not be responsive to creative flow, okay, to not be responsive to inspiration, that creates stagnation, okay, when we're talking about the flow of watery energies like emotion and intuition. Stagnation can occur, and we get sort of bogged down in what we've already seen, felt, and heard, but we are so bogged down in it that we're not open to what else is coming in. It can be a really depressing feeling, and it can feel like hard to let up on that feeling as well. A person cannot just change their mind, right? Because often they don't see the way to change their mind about how they feel in the moment. But it it is important to be aware. Okay, if you find yourself in this space, or if you know somebody who finds themselves in this space, it's important for that person to be aware that there is the option of other emotional or intuitive experience. There is the option of inspiration. Okay, so we can keep offering them inspiration, and we can keep offering them joy and care and nurture and support and protection. Sun and moon and Cancer, right? And they're gonna at least be supported while they go through this. Okay, and if it's you, be aware and seek inspiration. Try to find it. Look outside yourself, look outside your past experiences here, so that you can get some fresh water coming in. And if it troubles you, speak up, but understand that we're going through changes, right? What works for some people isn't going to work for everybody. Sometimes this is a moment like where a veil has been lifted, like, oh, I see, the emotional life is about this. Wow, my eyes have really been open to some things, and now I'm really going to have to give pause and some thought, and come to a place where I know that I feel okay to move forward from this. But all good things are flowing to you and through you. Okay, and then taken together with the Two of Cups here, this is one of those ways, I think, in which, a person, one of the people in this partnership might have a bad experience, not know how to communicate about something, might take on an extra burden, an extra intuitive or emotional burden, okay? Often in paired off couples, there's this There is this illusion of parity. There is this intention toward parity and equity between the two people, but often there's still just one person doing like all the emotional labor, right? While the other person is just sort of like, yes, I do my job and I show up and I do the things and it's all good, right? Because we like each other so well. So we've got to be aware of that, if you find, I mean, just look at your own situation, if it comes to a partnership like this, where two people are supposed to be involved in good faith and bringing equal hard work to the project or whatever future it is they're trying to build together. If you find that you don't get asked to do a lot of the emotional labor, or if you find that when things come up that seem distressing to the other person, and you're just like shrug your shoulders, I don't know what to do, and so you just get on to work or whatever, that says that you're not doing the work. Okay, these emotional things that you have to take care of, to process with your partner. Okay, this is a mutual thing. They're sort of piling up. Okay, so if they're piling up for you and you're not acknowledging them, they're piling up for that person too, and they're getting over it real quick. Okay, so seek to be inspired, but also seek to be willing to do some of the emotional labor. Seek to be willing to be engaged when that person, especially if that person is feeling upset in some way, but also just seek to be engaged, on a friendly, a loving, a mutual rapport and respect and honor. A certain reciprocity has to come to a union like this for things not to stagnate, or for things to become unbalanced or unequal between two people. Okay, and when they become unbalanced or unequal and we ignore that problem, then that future is in jeopardy. That partnership is in jeopardy. Okay, I think I said a mouthful already. I appreciate you all so much for being here today. I truly love it that you show up to listen to this. My name is Melrose, and I'll see you all back here today. No, I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.